We're going to call the meeting of Personnel Administrative Affairs Committee to order. Today is September 2nd, 2025, and we are in the Aldermanic Chamber. It is 7:02, and this meeting has been duly noticed in two places, including the city's website in accordance with RSA 91A. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Tim Sennett is here. Alderman Tom Lopez.
Here.
Alderman Ernest Jetty.
He's not going to be here.
Alderman at Large Ben Clemens, Vice Chair.
Here.
And Alderwoman at Large Shauna Kelly, Chair.
Here. We have a quorum. Also in attendance?
Yes, also in attendance we have Mayor Jim Donchis, Steve Bolton, Corporation Counsel. Director Bagley is not here.
She said she'd be joining by Zoom, so keep an eye out for her.
Don't believe I see Nancy. And Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services.
And Alderman
also Alderman
Moran.
Moran.
And Alderman at Large Mel Moran.
The Honorable
Okay. Next up is public comment. If anyone from the public would like to speak, please come up and state your name and address. All right. Communications.
Communication has been received from Bobby Bagley, Director of Public Health and Community Services, regarding Board of Health's recommendation relative to O-25-051 prohibiting the sale of kratom. Communication has been received from Nancy Trask, Human Resources Manager, regarding the legislation for implementation of unaffiliated salary and compensation schedule for fiscal year 27.
Being no objection, I'll accept the communications and place them on file. If there is no objection, I'd like to suspend the rules to allow for a communication that was received after the agenda was prepared.
Communication has been received from Alderman Richard Dowd regarding ordinance O-25-060.
There's no objection. I will accept it and place it on file. Okay. We can go right into interviews.
All right, first up for Cable Television Advisory Board, we have Oscar Velasquez, new appointment with a term to expire June 10, 2028, 76 Bowview Avenue, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, could you please introduce your...
Thank you, Madam Chair.
appointee?
I am nominating, as you already heard, Oscar Velasquez for the Cable TV Advisory Board. Mr. Velasquez has extensive media experience, both as an on-air personality, but also as the owner and operator of New Gen Media.
First Gen Multimedia.
First Gen Multimedia, and has been a spokesperson for inclusion in the local media. He's very knowledgeable about cable TV. He's been on the radio and been on cable TV, and he is a great fit, therefore, for the Cable TV Advisory Board. And so I will turn it over to Oscar to let him tell you a little bit about himself to the extent you're not aware already, and of his interest in joining the board.
Good evening. My name is Oscar Velasquez, and for those that you don't know me, I 5 years ago started a multimedia company here in Nashua called First Gen Multimedia. I saw that there was, after starting my radio show called First Gen American, I saw that there was a need for, bridging the gap between content and being able to have, connection with the Hispanic community and providing resources and news and language and connecting the city. So from there, from First Gen American, we started Latinos en Vivo, which was the first Spanish program ever here in the city, and I confidently could say in the state. Latinos en Vivo provided, guests from all walks of life, but most importantly, individuals were here within this city, like Mr. Donchis, like Mayor Donchis, and a lot of aldermen and a lot of important figures throughout the state, to be able to provide that content, to connect with families, and just to be that resource. And from there, we saw that there was a need within the Portuguese, and after doing further research, we saw that there was a need within the 5 languages that are mostly spoken here in the state, which is Spanish, English, Portuguese, Swahili, and French. So from there, we we started connecting and we started talking to business owners, and led to the collaboration of news collaboratives to be able to push out content like NHPBR, PBS, and so forth. So the reason I'm passionate about this is because I'm no longer actively in the radio, but I still want to see the consistency within that programming to be accessible to those underserved and underrepresented communities. And I think that the board should have that representation of the community. So I threw my hat in for a nomination, and now, even though I'm not doing radio, I'm the communications coordinator for Campaign for Legal Services here in the state in Concord, and just to be able to have that connection and that cohesive, attachment to the community that I love and we serve. So, thank you.
We'll open it to questions from committee. Alderman Clevens.
Yes, thank you for putting your name forward for this. Can you describe your familiarity, I guess, with Nashua's cable TV and why you would want this position, I guess, a little more in detail?
Sure. When I know that there was a moment in time, maybe 3 years ago, that there was the old executive director, or I believe the director at the time was, there was a bid war, and I know that George Russell and Bob Artis put in that bid to be able to, take over the television access. They put my hat in as First Gen Multimedia to be able to provide that content as a advisor, but for some reason I wasn't brought forward to that. I was left out of that. So which I'm glad that they're still providing that content, but we want to still hold individuals accountable to making sure that that content is authentic and not just, from individuals within that community. So I think that there's an opportunity and to keep moving forward and to keeping that, to keep bridging that gap consistently. So I think that if I can be there to oversee some of the projects and still say, hey, there's still some things missing, I would love that.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Well said. Alderman Lopez.
So I think your nomination is well-timed. It's helpful to be able to bring your knowledge and your experience without any kind of concerns about, any kind of competition or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because now people can see exactly what you're doing and what you stand for without trying to overcomplicate the issue.
Right.
I think I'm particularly interested in, I watched you turn First Gen Multimedia from a radio show into an empire in like less than 2 or 3 years. That took resourcefulness, that took vision, that took ideas, and I think that's what I want to see represented on Cable Television Advisory Board. I think we have some very effective, experienced committee members, and what they've been saying is we need to start thinking outside the box about how to fund that effectively and how to make sure that we're creating partnerships and opportunities so that we have quality community television. And I think what you were trying to do and put together for First Gen Multimedia in order to make content and messaging available to different members of our community than we're traditionally able to access, I think that's exactly the vibe that we want to see with CTAB. And again, I think that resourcefulness and that thinking outside the box and that determination to kind of put together programming to benefit the community, that's what I want to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing your voice on that committee. Yeah. And I think, Mayor, you found a great candidate. But now that I think about the word candidate, through the chair to the mayor, are there any implications if Mr. Velasquez, wins his bid for at-large? Would he step down, or?
Well, he's
Running for school board.
filed for the school board, so
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the wrong role. Okay.
I don't think that there would be a problem, no.
Does CTAB manage the education side of that too, or no?
Yes.
Yes.
They do? Okay. I don't think I've ever seen any concerns about that, but
Well,
I
it
guess
doesn't-
I forgot what you were running for, Mr. Velazquez, so I
It
apologize.
actually
but-
doesn't manage
yeah.
anything. It's an advisory board.
Okay, so it wouldn't matter even if he's on the Board of Education, then,
You stole my question.
okay.
Okay. Tim?
Oh,
Alderman Senate?
thank you, Madam Chair. I was very happy to see your name come forward as a nomination for this. Like the previous speaker mentioned, you really, you took a bad situation and turned it into something I don't think anybody expected to see in the city in a real short span of time. Not to go too far into repeating my colleagues' comments, but I think your proven resourcefulness and outside-the-box thinking is going to be a real asset on the CTAB. There was a lot of uncertainty on that board as recently as earlier this year, late last year, in terms of what the future of public television was going to look like due to the evolving nature of people cutting the cord, changing the way they consume media. You've already proven that you have that outside-the-box thinking. I know for a fact, just through personal connections, that they are going to be shortly losing a member of that committee who I'm sad to see go, because aside from yourself, I don't know anybody who has that sort of passion for public media like he does. So I'm glad to see you slotting in, where I know that he'll be stepping aside shortly. So I'm very excited to support your nomination. I'm really excited to see what it is you're going to be able to do on this board.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your words and your confidence. My curiosity keeps me going to keep thinking outside of the box, and that's exactly what I'm going to bring into this advisory board. It's just the consistent connection within the community, making sure that we're finding their needs, amplifying those needs, and just keeping it authentic and as pure as possible. I think that, it just, that's what comes naturally when providing that out, and just having that one-to-one interaction with the individuals, and to be able to portray that, those stories. And I think that that's what important. That's the fine line. That's just the minuscule moment that we need to bridge to change everything. It's just those conversations, authenticity, and just straight, genuine people interactions, and that's what I want to bring, and that's how I've always brought. So thinking outside the box is my forte. So thank you.
Great. Unless there are additional questions, thank you. We'll be taking up your nomination after this.
All right.
Thank you.
Next up for Downtown Improvement Committee, we have Alyssa Drift, new appointment, term to expire July 22, 2028, 18 Cushing Avenue, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to introduce Ms. Drift while she gets seated?
So this is Ms. Drift. Now, Ms. Drift is a very experienced owner and operator and employee of downtown restaurants, starting with Saffron Bistro a number of years ago, then with the Stella Blue Group, with Stella Blue, then Pearl, then the Union Public House, and since last year has been the owner and operator of Local Street Eats, which is at the corner of Elm and West Pearl. And Ms. Drift, I think, is a member of a new generation of business owners downtown, especially those located on West Pearl. We have Empinelli's, Local Street Eats, Pun Thai, the Amber Morgan bought Fort and Gage, and also Coffee and Kindness. So we have a really good, I think, group of businesses there that can help the downtown and probably help attract other businesses both to West Pearl and elsewhere. So I know from speaking with her that Ms. Drift is very enthusiastic about downtown. She's been very active in some of the recent discussions that have been taking place regarding new things that can occur. And therefore, I think she'll just be a great addition to the Downtown Improvement Committee. So with that, I'll give you Ms. Drift and ask her to say a few words about herself and of her interest regarding the Downtown Improvement Committee.
Thank you for that introduction. Thank you for everybody's time and consideration here today. Very green in the world of, committees and boards and things like that, but I'm really excited to just kind of sink my teeth in and really kind of hit the ground running. I have a lot of long-term friends downtown, business owners. I've been downtown for over 2 decades and just really looking to make an impact. And something positive. I think one thing that business owners kind of forget about is collaboration in a sense of community, and that we're not competition and we're here to support each other. And I think through a lot of the events and things that we've kind of come together and created, we've proven that that's what the people want. That's what's driving people downtown. It's really what is getting people excited. They can choose to go to any restaurant, they can choose to go to any shop. It's really about the experience and just kind of building that positive experience for people downtown, and making them just love it, fall in love with the city that we all are here supporting. That's why every single one of us is here right now, because we genuinely care about the city that we live in. I'm very devoted to it. Like I said, I've been downtown for almost 2 decades. I have children that go to school in the city. I have now and not only invested in my home in the city, but also my business in the city. So I kind of have all my eggs in one basket, and just really, really looking to take it to the next level. And like Mayor Don just said, just kind of that next generation of business owners. Mary Lou Blaisdell has been a huge support. She's been downtown forever and a day, and she's just a very big supporter of having all of us kind of come together and just bring up that new inclusive experience downtown and just really hitting it home. There's a lot of things, that we see, we hear from customers on a day-to-day basis. I'm not one of these people who just owns a business and, I turn the lights on, I leave, and I go home. I'm there every day. I hear from our customers what's working, what's not working, and obviously there's the loud minority and then, whatever, but we take it all in, we digest it, and then we process it. We think about the ways we can improve it, and I feel like having a seat on this committee will really help those people be heard. It's the people that are coming in after hours. It's the people that are coming in late night. It's the young college students, and we really need to drive that sense of community. We're a college town, and people don't even really realize that. We have a university that's located basically downtown. We have a community college that's located a few short miles away, and we should be seeing more of those young people coming in and spending money in a time where the economy is not exactly the most, stable, and people are feeling a little weird. It's nice to see that people are still willing to come in and support their local, their local restaurants, their local shops, and things like that. And I look forward to hopefully being able to impact that.
Alderman Senate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for that introduction. You clearly are invested in downtown. It almost goes without saying that you're a perfect fit for this committee, but having sat on the Downtown Improvement Committee prior to becoming elected, something I wanted to ask you, because something I didn't fully appreciate, I think, when I went on to that committee, was the little things that that committee enacts within its scope that it's able to improve the downtown. One of the things that we had taken on when I was there, once the outdoor dining was expanded and we had the barriers in place, was the additional cleaning that we funded through the Department of Public Works, so that the trash that would gather in the crevices of the barriers and stuff could be taken care of. So my question to you is, you're downtown, you've got a cornered, basically.
Yeah.
From your perspective, from where you're sitting there, if there was one idea that you could bring to the Downtown Improvement Committee to improve the downtown, what would it be?
There are so many things. That's so broad. But
I
just
only need
speaking of-
one.
No, honestly, like speaking of trash pickup and all of that, like I'm a huge proponent of, again, we just participate as a whole. Like everybody in our staff, we clean our alleys, we clean our sidewalks. So maybe just, putting in an initiative where everybody just take care of your corner. Some sort of just collaboration with everybody, like know that your span of sidewalk isn't maybe always gonna be tended to, and instead of having resources, stretched thin because we're depending on someone else to pick up our own trash, which is kind of crazy. We pay for our dumpsters, you know what I mean? So we're not opposed to picking up the trash. So why not, ask other people to do the same and hold people accountable for it and just keeping the city tidy and clean. I mean, there's like obviously a mountain of things that can be improved upon. Communication is a huge thing. I think a lot of unknowns. People are just, they don't know what we're doing to fix problems. So that's a really big thing. I think that that's been definitely lacking in certain areas. Sometimes people want to come at you with like a pitchfork. Well, this, and this is happening. And it's like, everybody's like, okay, well, we can't talk about that in this setting. More addressing it head on and just letting them know, like maybe we can't fix it today, but there is a plan in place, or we're at least talking about it. I think just letting people know they're being heard with their concerns is a huge thing. Just knowing that there's communication flowing, and I think that's probably one deficit that I found is lack of communication with the public. Recently, I mean, I'm sure Mayor Donches has seen the emails going back and forth between, the Board of Health and the homeless problem, and not just people being homeless, not just that, but it's the trash. So we're getting back to, human waste on sidewalks. We're talking about needles. We're talking about this. We're not equipped to pick that stuff up. So what plans are we going to put in place in order to improve that? How are we going to mitigate those issues and make it seem like everything's hunky-dory? But also giving people an answer that we're working on it, that there's a plan in place, or at least we're discussing it. They just think there's no communication, it's falling on deaf ears, and they feel frustrated because they're, pounding their head against the wall.
No, that's a fantastic answer.
I hope that, I ramble a lot. So I
No,
apologize. Okay.
No, that was perfectly fine, and that's really what I want to hear from, I mean, not just yourself, but, our downtown business owners is in general. I don't think anybody wants to, enact a downtown business owners association. I've been part of a HOA before, and it's the worst thing imaginable. But that investment in your space, that investment in your area, and the investment in the city, I mean, you can open up a business downtown, show up, open your doors, do business, close at the end of the night. And that's one thing, but to take that extra step beyond your front door and become invested in the community, tether open the door during the summer stroll, have an activity ready for the
Totally.
winter stroll. All that is the investment. And I mean, you guys have clearly done that. I mean, anybody who hasn't driven down Pearl Street and seen what you've done in the summer time, I mean, I roll down my window just so I can hear the music when I'm passing by. So,
Inclusivity is a huge thing, and I think just making people feel heard and included is a huge asset. Like I said, I'm a little green in this arena, but I'm hungry and I'm ready to do it. I'm at a point where now, because I do own my own business, I have time to commit to other things. I have a solid staff of people I can trust and walk away at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday during a dinner rush and know that the place is taken care of and it's not going to burn down to the ground. My kids are a little bit older. They're in sports. They have things going on. So I have time to commit now. And I'm just excited to be a part of it. And I just really want it.
well, you're certainly ready to hit the ground running. I'm certainly going to be supporting your nomination.
Alderman Lopez.
So in terms of inclusivity, I just wanted your opinions on how to, the downtown area has a lot of different stakeholders, and some of the largest and oldest institutions on downtown are the churches, and they will bring thousands of people in on the weekend, and then how do we keep them? How do we keep people engaged and build an experience? What about the residents who live on downtown? Do they feel like there's a resident perk somewhere, or there's places that they can go to? Do you have any ideas about engaging those different stakeholders?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in communication just recently with this woman named Jocelyn, and she takes care of like student affairs at Riviere. Now, this is just like one nuance, and your saying like downtown perks and things like that. And I wanted to create like a student like fast pass. So even for student and faculty, and it runs from the start of the school year. So say August, because we know people go back to school before, before September. So say it runs August and it runs all the way through May. And whatever that pass includes, it could be, a discount on food, it could be some sort of perk. It would be great to have all businesses participate, but I at least wanted to start somewhere and offer that from us as a business, because I feel like we really could cater to that, 8:30 to 10:30, we do a lot of fun specials, and it's a really great place for people to connect, and it's just the perfect little place for kids to come and you don't have to have a cocktail. We're not talking like alcohol. We're just saying a fun place to imbibe in general, and have a conversation with your friends in a fun, upbeat setting. We have board games. We're not looking for people to come and eat and leave. We want people to stay. We want people to hang out. We want to create more of, again, that experience, that overall vibe. And I'm hoping that with us kind of starting that trend, that we can take that and other people will see that and other people will, get on that wagon and want to do the same.
Follow?
Alderman Lopez.
So the Downtown Improvement Committee does have a budget, so hopefully that is a way to kind of project those ideas onwards. I appreciate your answer, because the first 4 years that I spent in Nashua were at Revere as a student.
Same
And
grad.
particularly over the summer, I'm pretty sure I was the only student who was staying there over the summer who even bothered to come downtown. And you talk to students now and they have no idea. My niece is attending Revere. She has a better idea than most, and everybody's like trying to wring her out of her where things are and what's going on. I think there's huge markets that can support. But then there's also, again, those stakeholders. They're part of the city too, and they contribute in many ways to the fabric of our culture. And downtown, we frequently point to it as the sort of the window, the department window, the demo of what our city can be. And what our city can be should be inclusive of all these people who are living right around in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think inclusivity is the hugest thing going forward. There's so many different paths that people take nowadays and how they live their lives and lifestyles, and knowing that they can go somewhere and not be, nervous to walk downtown or whatever is going on. Just making sure we have that safe place for people to be.
All set, Alderman Lopez.
Yep, thank you very much.
Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you. Well, a lot of my my questions have been answered, not necessarily because they were asked, but because you stated them so well. And no, I've been a customer of yours in many different
Yeah.
of your. I think
Yeah.
even from San Fran Bistro, actually.
Way back in the day.
And, I always wondered when you'd get to this point, when you'd get on that committee. So you'll be a great,
It was time.
you'll be a great addition, and I fully support you.
Thank you.
I don't know what I can add to the conversation, but I've also known you for 2 decades.
Yeah, appreciate you.
I mean,
No,
I would
I
love to
appreciate
make your
everybody's
appointment
time here.
contingent on staying open on Tuesdays so we can come over afterwards.
Well, you let me know. I tell you, you just tell me.
We get out of here, we got nowhere to
We work for
go.
the people. I'm like,
I appreciate you coming forward. I echo the previous speaker that it's just fun that you're there, that you're here now,
Yeah.
and that we
Yeah.
started way back at Saffron together, and I know you'll be a great asset to the committee, and we'll be taking it up formally after this.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.
And next up, we have for Nashua Revolving Loan Fund Committee, Christine Malloy, new appointment, term to expire September 8th, 2028, 9 Pinehurst Avenue, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, would you like to introduce your appointee?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So this is Ms. Malloy. Now, the city has a revolving loan fund, which was originally funded with federal money, but has been in operation for many years. And it is designed to help smaller businesses that are having trouble obtaining bank loans get started with kind of starter loans. And still, there are some credit requirements that the loan fund has, And to that end, there is a loan committee that reviews all loan applications to decide who should be extended funds and who maybe not. So on that committee, we have people generally with finance and banking experience. And of course, Ms. Malloy, as you can see from her resume, fits that very well. She has been many years working for the Triangle Credit Union, which is downtown, as a senior commercial loan officer, and has met a lot of previous bank experience before that. She is also a resident of Nashua, and thankfully for us, is interested in helping out with this loan committee. So I think she'll be, obviously well qualified and a great addition to the committee. So with that, I will introduce Ms. Malloy and ask her to tell you anything that she'd like about herself and regarding her interest in the revolving, being on the loan committee for the revolving loan fund.
It's an honor to be here. Is this on?
Yeah, they're directional, so you don't have to like lean too, but
Yep.
nice and loud right at it.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much. So I have been in banking for many decades, and my most enjoyable experience has been as a commercial loan officer, and especially at Triangle Credit Union, where I got to really dig my hands in and learn every detailed aspect of the entire process of lending. Prior to that, I was in a larger bank where you only had you're only allowed to do certain aspects of the job. Prior to that, I was in residential lending. I had my own mortgage company. So again, I had to dig deep and learn every little aspect of running a business, as well as helping all my clients with residential lending. But as a commercial loan officer, one of the things that has been the most rewarding is at Triangle, we're able to work with small business owners, specifically from all different walks of life, including startup businesses. And we take a really strong look at their background and there's 5 C's of credit, their character, their, all the different aspects of the business, their business plan, and make a decision. So I believe that my experience will work really well with this advisory committee because I love small business. I'm a small business owner right now as well, and it'll be really enjoyable. There's a lot of other pieces to the puzzle which I find exciting to be able to be part of too, just going to some of the committee meetings so far, and we're setting up structure, and that's one of my fun parts of my job, as well as to stay really organized, build structure and process. So I'm looking forward to helping in any way possible.
Great. Thank you. I'll open up to questions from the committee. Alderman Clemmons, then Alderman Lopez.
All right. Thank you very much for putting your name forward. I was looking over your resume, and obviously it's impressive. I come from a lending background too. I worked at Triangle for a while, but I'm now down at MIT Federal Credit Union, but I do the consumer lending, so I'm on the opposite side of that. But it's always good to see somebody that's interested to give back to the community. I guess my question to you would be, what do you think the greatest need is for something like the loan fund when you have places like Triangle who will, take a chance on somebody? Where does the loan fund come in to play, and how does it fill the need in the community?
Well, I'm brand new, so I believe that the loan fund is there for small business owners that are not able to get banking to approve their loans, and maybe they're not aware of credit unions and their ability to help people out. But, you know, banks and credit unions have a much higher standard that they have to abide by, because it's funds that, especially at the credit union, that's the members' money. So we have to be very careful. Not to say that we won't be careful with these funds, but I think it's looked at a little bit different. We want to help people that really are in need and don't feel confident that they'll get any kind of funds from banks or credit unions. So we're going to take a different view of it and take a good look at it and, you know, see the good aspects in any way possible. And our hope is that we can structure the process so to ensure repayment as well. But, you know, knowing that it might be tricky, we're trying to establish that process to ensure repayment.
Alderman Clevens, do you have?
Yeah, no, that's probably the best answer you could give, having not yet officially served on the committee, but I do appreciate the answer, and I think you'll be a very good fit, so, thank you.
Great. Next, I had Alderman Lopez.
Yeah, I just appreciate the kind of experience that you're bringing to this. I see we focused on the loaning and the commercial lending and the credit union experience, but I also notice your participation in nonprofits. The Front Door Agency is probably one of the most respected organizations in Nashua, and High Hopes has been doing its work very consistently for many, many years. And the fact that you find time in your bandwidth to include those types of organizations as beneficiaries of your skill set, I think is impressive, and I think that's what we want to look for, because as you said, you're keeping in mind with Triangle Credit Union, that's the members' money. The revolving loan fund is as a function of the national government, like where that's taxpayer money. But there is a little bit of a difference where people turn to government to support them and help them figure out what their next steps are going to be, when maybe the private sector or private adjacent, I guess if you want to call it the third sector, may not have the mission or the specific focus to do that. So I think your answers are great. I'll definitely be supporting your nomination, and thank you for stepping forward to serve.
I'm glad to be here.
Additional questions from committee members or aldermen? I just want to thank you for coming forward. You seem very qualified to serve on this, and it sounds like you're putting in the time and have already attended meetings, so I always appreciate when I hear that. And I love to hear the idea of putting some structure in. So we'll be taking up your nomination in a moment, so thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Oh, my favorite part.
Yes.
Applications to license hawkers, peddlers, itinerant vendors license.
There are none.
Appointments by the mayor.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend the following new appointments to the Cable Television Advisory Board: Oscar Velasquez, with a term to expire June 10, 2028. To recommend the following new appointment to the Downtown Improvement Committee: Alyssa Drift, with a term to expire July 22nd, 2028. And to recommend the following new appointment to the Nashua Revolving Loan Fund Committee: Christine Malloy, with the term to expire September 8th, 2028.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Congratulations. Unfinished business.
There is none.
New business resolutions.
There are none.
New business ordinances.
In front of us, we have O-25-062. Bear with me. Increasing the tax credit for a service-connected total disability. Do I have to introduce the motion?
Yes, you do. We can't talk
I will
about it
ma-
without in front of us.
Right. I will make a motion to recommend final passage.
Motion in front of us is to recommend final passage. I did get a message from both co-sponsors of this. They were unable to attend this evening, and they asked us to table it so that they can attend and speak to it at our next meeting. Does anyone want to make that motion? Alderman
Motion to
Clevens?
table.
Did you want to say something first, Alderman Lopez?
I would have sponsored this if I'd seen it go by, but I think it was introduced when I was away.
We can tell Donna.
Yeah.
All right. The motion is to table, which is non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Next up is O25063, amending the unaffiliated employees' personnel policies with respect to the unaffiliated employee salary and wage schedule. I'd like to make a motion to recommend final passage.
Motion before us is to recommend final passage. I know there's a number of people from Director Cummings, your department, as well as I see Nancy Trask here. Do you want to come speak to this? Does the committee have specific questions? We've talked about this, I don't know, like 8 times it feels like.
For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services. We're just here in case any questions do arise. We submitted a communication to you, which basically just outlines the genesis of the legislation that's before you this evening, and all we're asking is your favorable recommendation on this legislation. You worked with us over the last year and a half or so to develop the language. Thank you.
Any discussion from the committee on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, tabled in committee. I have, go ahead, you can read it and then
I'll start with making a motion to remove from the table R25-158.
So that one's actually staying on
Oh,
the
no,
table.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That one's staying on the table.
Yep. I'll jump ahead then.
Yes, thank you.
I will make a motion to remove from the table O25051.
Prohibiting the sale of kratom.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So now before us, we have O25051, prohibiting the sale of kratom. I will make a motion to recommend final passage.
Motion is to recommend final passage. That is before us. We also had a memo from Director Bagley, who's here to answer questions if we have them. I'll open it up to commentary or questions from the committee. Alderman Moran?
Thank you, and thank you to the committee for removing it from the table. And Director Bagley can jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong of the developments of this over time, but it was introduced. We had folks from who wanted to have a full ban, a partial ban with an age restriction, and then a ban of the chemical compound that's used in the concentrated kratom versus the natural leaf. We worked with Corporation Counsel, who clarified that the best route legally and to enforce such an ordinance, and Corporation Counsel can correct me if I'm wrong on this too, is either age restriction or full-out ban. And the Board of Health heard that information that was shared, and they discussed it, and the final recommendation from the Board of Health, which I support, would be to amend the legislation for a 21-plus ban on kratom as a whole, because we, as a Dillon state, can't regulate the compound that's really the very dangerous part of it that creates the concentrated kratom, which is often found in these gummies that are sold over the counter, and kids ingest them and die. I think with at minimum the 21 plus, adults can still have access to the kratom leaf if they want the concentrated stuff, but it puts up at least minimum warning of education to shop owners that the stuff's not safe for kids. And that might even have adults question if they're going to ingest the substance as well. So I think it's a good, not only amendment to make to prevent kids from accessing it, which was the point in the first place, but also to, in its own way, provide public health education by showing that there is some level of danger to it, and someone should double check and think twice before they ingest it. So I believe, even though I'm not a member of the committee, I can move to amend, and I would like to move to amend to accept the Board of Health's recommendations.
That's in order, right? Because he was the co-sponsor? Or we can through him too.
Well, if someone's not a member of the committee, they should not make motions, but if you want to allow it, I'm not going to stand in the way.
Mr. Alderman
But
Moran, can you?
make it clear what the amendment is, I think.
That's what I was going to say. Can you clarify what you want specifically changed and then just to keep it on the up and up, someone on the committee can make the tape.
Yes, of course. I thought I was in line with the ordinance from Alderman Clemmons that was,
You were.
yeah, that was passed into law. But basically, I'm looking to amend the resolution to state a ban on Kratom products to 21 and under. I'm sorry, 20 and under.
So
I got the
I'm
nod from
looking
Director
at-
Bagley. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
that's
just
good.
trying to make sure I get clear. So I'm looking at the initial drafted, unless there was another draft since then. But what it says is, "It shall be unlawful any person to sell, offer to sell, give away, deliver, or publicly display for sale kratom or any products containing." So I feel like that needs some real clarity, because you were just talking about tea versus the other thing. Alderman Clemmons, you got the answer?
Yeah, might I suggest, after it says within the city limits of Nashua, or actually before that, so where it says alkaloids, comma, under the age of 21, comma, within the city of limits of Nashua.
So,
About
heard, would that make the effect that if you're under 21, you also cannot sell it? Because it starts unlawful for any person to sell, offer to sell, give away, deliver, or.
Well, I think that would be in line as well, just like with beer being sold at Market Basket.
18 for beer, but.
Right. Corporation Council.
What is the question?
I guess we're looking for some of your suggestion on how best to make this paragraph reflect what Alderman Moran is asking for. I can pull it up if you want.
Say, you want to say it will be unlawful to sell, give, offer to sell, all those things that it already says, to any person 20 years of age or less.
Yeah.
So maybe in the beginning, it shall be unlawful for any person under the age of 21?
No.
No,
And then go?
No,
it should
no,
be
that's why I
after
would bring
what
it up.
alcohol
I,
is.
I'm using my phone. Who does that?
I see.
Does anyone have a copy of this?
I have it right here.
Okay,
I had a suggestion too.
Bigger screen.
Yeah. So I was going to say under the age, to persons under the age of 21 after the word alkaloids.
I would put it at the very end of the sentence, to any person 20 years of age or under.
So comma after Nashua too. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Do you understand the motion that is being suggested, Alderman Moran?
Sounds in line to what I would anticipate and makes
Okay.
sense to what I said.
And Director Bagley, that's what the board said, correct? That they were looking to do?
That is correct.
Okay, great. Let's get the motion on the table. Is Alderman Clemmons, are you willing to move to amend as
Yes.
such? Okay. The motion
Although
is,
I will state, we do have a home rule that was passed where the prime sponsor of an ordinance can move to amend.
so what's a prime sponsor? Because Alderman Moran's actually listed second.
Who's the first sponsor?
Alderman Clee.
Well,
that's-
then, in that case,
That's
then-
not,
No, that must be a clerical error, because on the original legislation,
thought it was you, but it
attached to
definitely-
the agenda, it has endorsed as me and then followed by Alderman Clemmons as the introducing sponsors. It must be a clerical
regardless,
error.
it doesn't matter. I just wanted to,
I don't think Alderman Clee would have enjoyed.
just want to vote.
I thought it was weird. I don't remember that, but okay.
it was years, it was like in 2009 that was passed. I
Okay.
think.
So the motion is to amend.
Who's it from?
Alderman, I don't care. Alderman Clemmons.
Alderman Senate, whoever.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Alderman Senate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a couple of questions to Director Bagley. I will try not to belabor the point too much. My first question is, I was hoping you could just briefly speak to how it is that this recommendation was arrived at, solely because we had a very spirited discussion here, and I think it would just behoove the public to understand where we came from, where we are, and how we got here.
Yes, thank you, Alderman Smith, for this opportunity. I'm sorry, I hear an echo. Let's see, what can I do?
You're clear on our end.
Yeah, our audio's fine.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. So as Alderman Moran said, we had the opportunity to have a number of sessions, which included some very good information provided by those who were in support of the ban, as well as individuals who were against the ban, and had an educational session provided to the public health staff as well as the Board of Health. And then we had the public hearings where we had information provided to us by both sides of the interested parties with regards to Kratom. And also, as it was stated, there's quite a bit in here that at the local level, we don't have control or would have the capacity for a complete ban on the sale of Kratom altogether. We couldn't measure the amount of the substance that is considered highly toxic to folks. There's no way for us to put anything in place for us, either at the health department, at the local level, to be able to monitor or put those parameters or even be able to regulate that. That would have to be done at the state or even at the national level. So we talked about some of those things as far as, you know, the officiation of the ban and then who would actually provide the oversight of that. Because you had individuals that were in the room that spoke to how the use of the leaves, as Alderman Moran stated, benefited them, so that they didn't have to take other prescribed medications as they were working on their recovery. And so, you know, you want to make accessible to folks things that they have the ability, you know, to use for themselves, that they feel are safe for themselves. And from both sides of those that were present, it boiled down to everyone being in agreement that this should not be available to those that were under the age of 21. And so after hearing all of that, also knowing the restrictions that we have at the local level, it was the Board of Health pined over this, read through quite a bit of information. Dr. Stephanie with Rosenblum put together a summary for everyone to review. And the thing that made the most, if you want to say, availability to adults that would have the ability to regulate their own use of this was to put in place a recommendation on a ban of the sale to those under the age of 21, allowing for adults to make decisions to how they want to care for themselves.
All right, thank you. Alderman Senate?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Director Bagley, for that response. That adds a lot of clarity. I think really helps us understand what went into this decision. My next question for you, if I could, is just twofold. From here, assuming this passes the full board, how does word of this, short of following the happenings of City Hall, get out to vendors who are selling these products, making them aware of the new regulations within the city, and who is ultimately responsible for enforcing that?
So Alderman Senate, that is a very good question, and the enforcement is where, you know, there's the biggest issue, right? So we can push out information, and as it was stated, lots of education. We can push out the information around the education of Kratom, the substance, the things that brought concern to those who were around the table that wanted a ban. As far as regulating what's done in stores where there's vendors, we could do something similar to what we did with tobacco, where we set up different types of operations of going in and checking and doing surveys and doing spot checks. When we did that with the tobacco, however, we had a lot of support from the state, as well as there was funding to help support the going in and doing these checks at the grocery stores with regard to the sale of tobacco, or even with the sale of alcohol. I don't know how we would do this with Kratom because we're doing it at the local level unless we rose this up to something that was taken on at the state level and then got some kind of support and backing from the Bureau of Alcohol and Other Drugs.
Just one more.
Alderman Senate.
Thank you, Director Bagley. And it does seem like this is going to be still a little bit of an uphill battle to enforce. That being said, I'm in support of the amendment. I still think doing something is better than doing nothing. I understand the limitations that are before us, that this is not a federally or state-regulated substance, and that there's still a lot of unknowns to it. I think this is something that's new to a lot of us, new to a lot of the folks out in the public, but nevertheless, it is out there. There's a shop in my neighborhood that I know for a fact is selling it. They've got a big flashing sign that says they are. And I just want to make sure that as we move forward with regulation, we're aware of the challenges, that we're rising to meet them, and we're putting forward something that that is still going to have some backing behind it. I don't want just words on paper. So I hope that this isn't the end of the conversation and that this can continue as we understand new substances that are coming out in the community every day. That's all I've got.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes, just so happens this afternoon, I was on the internet. When we started this conversation, I had no idea what this drug was. But this afternoon, I found out that there are a few states that are trying to ban it entirely in those states. And they had several health experts on explaining the dangers of this drug. And so I fully support us doing something to stop it.
Alderman Clemmons.
So I have a couple of questions around, I guess, enforcement, penalties, things like that. My first question is, what is the penalty if somebody was to get caught violating this?
Alderman Moran.
Thank you. It might be a question for Corporation Counsel. I didn't put in a fine, but I think by default it's $1,000. Correct me if I'm wrong.
$1,200 is the standard penalty if no other penalty is mentioned.
How much was it? I'm sorry.
$1,200.
$1,200. Thank you.
Maximum
Alderman Clemmons.
$1,200.
So my other question is, who would be fined? So, meaning, if somebody walked into a store and bought this and they were sold this and they were under the age of 21, would it be the cashier or would it be the business? Who are we contemplating penalizing here? And what, as it's written, who would be penalized, I guess?
Depends who is charged and if there were proof of it. If it was the policy of the store and the corporate ownership to do this, and they had directed their employee to violate this provision, then the owner of the business, anyone involved in that, but yes, it would be the cashier as well. It's very similar to selling cigarettes to underage people or selling alcohol to underage people. It's the same thing.
Alderman Clemmons.
So and thank you for that answer, but we don't have to explicitly write in here that it would move to the store owner as well, or that would just be understood, I guess?
No, you'd have to have evidence
Right.
that it was the policy of the store to do it.
Okay.
So perhaps the cashier would say, I was ordered, I was trained, the management knew it was happening, the management encouraged me to do it. You have to have proof of the involvement of whomever you are charging.
Okay.
I'm gonna, unless you have a follow-up, I have one that's directly connected to that.
No, go ahead.
Director Bagley, if someone sells, alcohol to an underage minor and there's a fine, and do we know where that goes? Is there a, state-funded budget that then comes back for education? Like, where does that actual money go on the state level?
Alderman Kelly, that's a good question. I'm not sure if it goes back into the alcohol fund, because we actually do have an alcohol fund out at the state level. And I know that in cases where the stores are reported, the police do go in, so there's police involvement with this as well. And I'm not sure who actually writes up the fine, if it's written up by the police or if it's written up by the state. But I can get more information on that and send a follow-up response to this question back to this committee.
I appreciate
I
it.
can answer that if you
Oh.
wish.
Attorney Bolton.
Most of the money is kept by the court.
Okay.
There's some percentage, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like 18% or something that goes to the Police Standards and Training Council and basically funds the police academy and other training programs.
Thank you. I was just, you asked, you said that there was money available for enforcement on those other things, and this is a local one. So I was just thinking about where those funds go if people get a fine. Go ahead, Alderman Clevin. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's quite all right, Madam Chairwoman. I guess my thought behind this is, obviously, I think it's important that we enact this. I hope that we can find a way to enforce it. So.
Additional comments or questions, Alderman Senate?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to kind of piggyback off the previous conversation and really emphasize that everything that we just spoke of really speaks to the importance of education coming out of this, because like many of you probably, I've worked in retail settings where you're responsible for selling tobacco or alcohol products, and making that judgment call on the fly from behind the cash register, it can be a challenge. And, I think that this legislation is important enough to pass. I just want to pass it with the understanding that there are people who are going to be working in those shops, because it's not just, smoke shops or vape shops that are selling these products. They are available in corner stores. And I just think of the young kid behind the cash register who's going to be put in this situation, whether or not their supervisor is making them aware of all the laws that are coming down from the city or the state. I want to make sure that that kid knows, that, look, you get a card for this and it's 21 and up. And so I hope that we have the resources or the means to get that educational effort out so that we can ensure that this gets out and it works properly.
Alderman Moran?
Thank you. Excellent comments from everyone. I appreciate it. I just want to extend my gratitude to the Board of Health for handling the matter in such a professional way. I think at the onset there was a lot of energy in both directions of where citizens fell on the issue. And I think what we did with this process was we did it with integrity and science, and we found a outcome that was beneficial to the advocates of both sides of the issue. And I appreciate Director Bagley, the Board of Health, and her team for coming forward and putting the research and energy and time into this worthy endeavor. On the onset of this, it's about protecting kids. To my colleague from Ward 7's comments, it's also about educating the community about how much danger kratom can be to the development of kids' brains, or just as poison that can have sudden effects such as death. And just like banning alcohol or tobacco, this is just a step in a direction to bring more attention to it. And I hope the state starts noticing and starts regulating so we can have more enforcement of keeping the junk, the dangerous stuff, off the streets, off our shelves in our stores and away from kids. I think that's where it starts. And just as a business owner, I know when the laws change here in New Hampshire, I got to be aware of it. The state has changed a lot of things that have to do with counseling, and I have to make sure everyone is aware what the policies is, and if they can't follow it, they can't follow it, and it's on them. But I hope every business owner would work in that mentality to educate their staff, let them know what they are potentially, what the dangers are of selling something to a minor, just like I would tell someone that you cannot disclose someone's treatment to anyone whatsoever, or face this repercussion.
All right, motion is to amend. Any additional? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
We now need to make a motion to recommend final passage, right? So we were just on amend?
Yes, I think we're back to the original motion, but just for posterity's sake, I'll make a motion to recommend final passage as amended.
You heard the motion. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We are leaving our 2556 on the table, but you can do the next one, please.
I'd like to make a motion to remove from the table O25060.
Heard the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Now before us, we have O25060, prohibiting banners, flags, and signs at meetings. I'll make a motion to recommend final passage.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I sent out a memo to all of you today. In fact, I have the official copy here because it was a draft. And I recommend that if it's taken from the table, that it's indefinitely postponed, and the reasons are outlined in that memo.
Okay. The prime sponsor would like to indefinitely postpone. Do I have a motion? Alderman Clemmons.
Oh, I actually have just a bit of housekeeping.
It's not, no mark.
It's a question more through you to the maker of the original motion. Did you make that motion just to, for the purposes of discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just want to put that on the record there.
Oh, yeah.
I had a
Thanks.
similar concern.
I appreciate you.
Other than that, I support moving to indefinitely postpone.
Alderman Lopez.
No, I had the same question.
Yeah.
There was a member of the public who very famously made an accusation that something was being brought for reasons other, and it was one of my legislations, so I want to make sure that Alderman Senate wasn't setting himself up just because he's doing his job as the clerk.
Alderman Senate.
With respect to my colleagues present, I did make the motion to recommend final passage solely so they could be on the table for discussion. In the interest of full candor, I intended to oppose this legislation, so.
Okay. Did anyone actually make a motion?
No.
Alderman Clemmons.
Move to indefinitely postpone O2560.
The motion before us is to indefinitely postpone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And O25-060 is indefinitely postponed.
Recommend.
To put a fine
Recommended
point
to
on it,
definitely
you're
postpone.
Recommending it be indefinitely postponed.
Correct.
And I'm just writing.
Because it still has to go to the full board to be indefinitely postponed. Okay. All set? We are moving on to public comment. There's nobody here but us. General discussion. Any remarks by Alderman? Alderman Clemmons.
Move to adjourn.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't vote, but I would like to go home. Good night.